Well, hello everyone. This again is being broadcast first on the Pink Flame of Liberty channel. We're going to be putting this, when I say we, on our own channel once we gain some subscribers. But Mike, if you want to introduce yourself, everyone knows me.
Howdy, I'm Mike Seebeck. I've been working with Karen Ann on things Colorado-wise for several years now. We're pretty good friends. Been in the party for 20 years or so, roughly, give or take a little bit. Been around the block a few times in both California and Colorado. And we're just doing this to hopefully educate some people on the wonderful world of Robert's Rules.
And to bring some, what's the word I can't say?
Irreverence.
And bring some of that. And I don't think we settled yet on a name. We were going to call it Call the Question Bitches. And figured the YouTube censors might have a heart attack. But they'll probably have a heart attack anyway because I cuss way, way too much. All right, so the format, and this is the only time we're going to explain it, or I'm going to explain it, is there is something, and only geeks really have this, is a day-by-day parliamentarian calendar. I will put a link in the show notes if you want to get one, if you're crazy. But we're going to go through it day by day and discuss the questions. The purpose of this isn't just to like be an idiot that has Roberts on your desk, but it's just to be used as a study guide for the various certification tests, which I'm studying for. So you could be studying for it too, or just to not get railroaded by the priests, the priesthood of Roberts. So we are going to do these each day. I'm going to record a bunch ahead of time and just tell you right now we're cheating, but I'm going to release them one a day. And we're going to go through the quizzes and see how we do. We might change the format if that turns out to suck, but that's our plan so far. So, seeing as today is the first of the year, or it will be when I release it, but we're going to pretend like today's the first because it will be the first. We are going to go to day number 1.
So I therefore make a motion to begin the process of mesmerizing these people with our irreverent humor and totally crazy Robert's Rules.
Absolutely. Well, if there's only me, do you need Xena seconds? We have a dog down here. She seconds. All right.
She's our mascot.
So here's the first question. Are you ready? Are you gonna? You're not gonna get the first one wrong, are you? Pressure. Pressure. Pressure.
I don't know.
Here we go. If the president is, and they use president for chair, just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably saw that in here too.
Right.
If the president is ex officio a member of all committees except the nominating committee, he has the rights, he has all the rights of the other committee members except, and then there is A, B, C, D. So let me read them all. A, voting within the committee. B, attending meetings of the committee unless invited. C, receiving notice of meetings. D, being counted in the quorum of the committee. And I can read it again if you need it, because I don't want to let you see it because the answer bleeds through on the other side.
Fine. That's fine. Okay. We know. Okay, so it's not B and C. I know that already. B was the
To attend meetings.
yeah, they have the right to attend meetings.
And they have and C was receive notice.
They have the right to receive notice about the meetings. I know those are true, that they are entitled to that. So A again was
to vote within the committee.
and then D was
Is being counted in the quorum of the committee.
okay. I'm going to talk about D. I'm not saying D is the answer, but while talking through this, D has to do with being counted as a quorum. We actually had a brouhaha over that in Colorado a while back.
Before my time.
Yeah, actually it was a couple of years. Actually it had to do with El Paso County of all things.
Oh, okay.
Where the concern was that if you didn't, because the state bylaws require that that these officers are ex officio members. This is a couple of years ago.
And the state bylaws say that
State
too.
bylaws say that. Then the question was, well, if they're automatically members of these committees ex officio, but they don't show up to the meetings, then they might interfere with having a quorum. So we actually did a change to the bylaws to say they don't count as a member of the quorum explicitly to override that issue with Roberts. So D is not the right answer. So it has to be A, but they can't vote.
I know the right answer to this one.
And the answer is?
The answer is D.
It is D?
It is D. And I know this for a specific reason. I'm an ex officio member of a certain committee on the LNC.
one wrong.
I
Sorry.
thought you were right before. I would have thought you were right.
Yeah.
Because there's the Convention Voting Process Committee. And Nick and I are both ex officio members. And someone says, does that mean you get to vote? And I'm like, no. And then someone said, no, Robert says you can vote. So we had explicitly put in the committee creation that we're ex officio members without voting rights. But here's the page number.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't give you a page number. It tells you, oh, yeah, 579, page, lines 24 through 29,
Okie dokie.
and 497, lines 28 through 30. Why they didn't put 497 first, I don't know.
I don't either. 579. What lines again?
Lines 24 through 29.
Okay. I'll read that one off real fast. This section, this is under, just for reference point here, this is under the chapter of section of content and composition of bylaws, under the bylaws chapter 18. It says the following. This is under Article 7 committees. 24, here it goes. This section may also provide that certain officers, for example, the president, shall be ex officio a member of all committees except the nominating committee, and that's in quotes. In that case, the president has the right, but not the duty, of participating in the work of the committees. Without such a provision, he has no vote within the committees, nor can he attend their meetings except as invited by a particular committee. The nominating committee should also be expressly excluded in any provision making the president ex officio member of the committees. Okay, so what does it say on 497?
Let's look there. So this is saying he has all the rights, including voting.
Yeah, that's what as long as
it's in...
that provision is in the bylaws.
Yeah, and this is saying that it is.
Yeah, fair enough. 497, you said it. Okay. That's 479. That doesn't work.
497, look at what page numbers, what line numbers. 28 through 30.
28 through 30 says the following. 25. Okay, line 25. The president is an ex officio member who has the right but not the obligation to participate in the meetings of the committee, and he is not counted in determining the number of reset. He is not counted in determining the number required for a quorum, or whether a quorum is present at a meeting. Okay, well, there you have it.
Yeah, there you go. So you didn't have to put that in the bylaws.
Well, we did anyway.
It's, to me, I hate when people say it doesn't need to be in the bylaws because it's in Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the frickin' bylaws so members don't have to look in two separate places. I mean, that's...
And the other thing about it is this, is that I believe the way that Colorado worded it was it was ambiguous as to whether they count as a quorum or not. So we want to make sure that it was not an issue.
So this was El Paso?
I believe so. I believe it was El Paso in response to the state having that ex officio thing in their bylaws a couple of years ago.
Interesting. We changed the ex officio thing in the Colorado bylaws recently, too.
It was after that, yeah.
Though, this would be illustrative for today. Where is it in here? I might need you to get that.
Okay, hang on, I'll be right back. Yada, 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 bang, boom.
It'd be funny if we couldn't find it.
Article 2, Section 13 of the bylaws.
Section 13?
Yes.
It only goes up to Article 9. Oh,
Article 2, Section 13.
Okay. Article 2, Section 13. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to read this for Colorado, just as an example for people, for your state affiliate will be different, obviously. Each director shall be an ex officio member of each party's, and it's talking about counties here, affiliates board of directors for the purpose of, upholding the spirit and letter of the statement of principles of the national party, enforcing the party constitution, bylaws, and the rules and resolutions adopted by the convention or the state board, and providing relief in times of distress. And we also put, this was in college, directors shall not be counted in determining the number required for a quorum at an affiliate's annual or board meetings, but may be what? But may be counted in determining that a quorum is Okay, we overrode Roberts here,
Yes, we did.
and I know why. And this is very interesting to do. So, per Roberts, they don't count in a quorum.
Right.
Here, it doesn't say they are. It says they may be. And the reason is, we have...
Well, no, there's a difference here, though. Read it carefully.
Okay, directors shall not be counted in determining the number required
for a quorum.
but may be counted in determining that a quorum is present.
Right. So what
So
that
what it-
means is that if a county affiliate here, or if it has a specific number in their bylaws that says this is what the quorum is to do business, like 40% of the members or whatever the heck it may be, these ex officio members do not count towards that 40% to achieve in terms of determining what that actual number is supposed to be. But if they're present at the meeting, they can be counted to make sure that you have a quorum present to conduct business.
Right. And the reason that's in there and why we overruled, I'm just going to say overruled, Roberts in that is because the only reason we wanted to allow officers to be ex officio is in times of distress.
Right.
So if they couldn't get a quorum any other way.
Right.
To keep an affiliate from falling through the cracks.
Yeah, because the way that our bylaws are constructed, we have to have at a minimum a chair and a treasurer that are two different people. But it's better to have enough officers to have a quorum to do business, and if they don't have enough, well then they can allow for the state directors to fill in long enough to get that board reconstituted to keep things going.
Correct. So but they can vote if they show up.
Right.
But only allegedly, and I think Wayne was wrong here. To me, I would interpret this as saying they can only vote for those purposes.
I would agree with that.
Wayne voted in an election, and I think he was wrong in that now. But water under the bridge.
Yep.
Because we were very cautious about not letting the state party have a say unless it was an emergency.
Right.
So that's a good lesson to end this thing with, because while Robert says one thing, your bylaws can say whatever it wants.
Because the bylaws override Roberts.
So what's the hierarchy?
The hierarchy, when you have them, Constitution overrides bylaws, overrides, I believe it's special rules of order, overrides Roberts.
Correct.
And at the end of all that, absent all of that, I believe there's a customary practice.
Yeah, custom and practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And standing rules really aren't really rules. They're called rules, but they're not like procedure. So
Yeah.
they're like things like you must wear a name badge to the meetings.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. So that's why those weren't included. But another thing to bring up here, because we're going to assume that some people listening don't even have some basic knowledge. What is a quorum?
Quorum is the required number of people that you have to have present at a meeting in order to conduct business.
Which is normally...
It can range anywhere from, I think it's 20% for the National Convention to usually 40 to 50% of some group of people, probably membership, could be a board of directors, usually for a board is 50%, in order to accommodate that. Sometimes they can even get as high as 2/3 or more, depending on what you're trying to do.
Absent a bylaws provision saying what the quorum is, what is the quorum?
50%.
Correct.
Plus one.
Plus, well, no, 50% is a quorum.
Exactly half?
Yeah, I think so. Should we look that up?
Yeah, let's check
We're
it.
having a nice little
Let's-
first session
Let's
here.
check it.
A majority is 50% plus one. I don't
Fair.
think a quorum is 50%
That's
plus
a
one.
fair point. Quorum. Page 5, page 21, page 345 to 51.
And while he's looking that up, I'm going to bring up something very interesting here, and it has to do with my objection to people saying it's in Roberts, it doesn't need to be in the bylaws. We have people on the bylaws committee on national who love to strike things from our bylaws by claiming it's in Roberts. Okay, I'm not going to read motives into it. Some people, this may be their motives. Others, it might just be that they're a member of the Brevity Caucus. But I think the result ends up being the reinforcement of the priesthood of Roberts. A lot of people are intimidated by Roberts, and I believe you should have as much as possible in the bylaws to make the rules accessible and understandable to everybody, even the least sophisticated members. So they struck the fact that the quorum in LNC, I think, there's somewhere in the bylaws where they struck that it's half. They go, oh, it's in Roberts. Well, funny, in this, in Michael, read this in a section. In that section in Roberts, it says, even though we say it's half, in the absence of a provision, you should always have a provision. So striking that from the national bylaws was a no-no. But anyway, when you find it.
I'm looking very carefully here. Because it does define a quorum as the quorum in an assembly is number of members
Required to do business.
who must be present in order that business can be validly transacted. The quorum refers to the number of members present, not to those actually voting. Now, this is not helping us much, so let's go back to page 21. Here we go. In the meetings of a convention, unless the bylaws of the organization provide otherwise, the quorum is a majority of the delegates who have been registered at the convention as in attendance, irrespective of whether some may have departed.
So it would be 50% plus one.
Yes,
A majority is 50% plus one.
that's right.
Is
I even highlighted it in here.
Is it 50% one for the board?
Um,
That says a convention.
yeah. That's where the convention, yeah. Hang on, let's cross-reference.
See, we're learning something.
A board can transact business member regular property call meeting in which every board member is notified, and at which a quorum, a majority of the total members shall otherwise specify the bylaws or established by constituting power is present. So that just defers it.
Well, but it's a majority otherwise.
Well, it says a majority of the total membership, unless otherwise specified in the bylaws.
Right, the total membership of the committee. So it would be like if you have a 10-person committee, you need 6 people.
Yeah, so there you go.
So you were right on that. Quorum, 50% plus one. See, I love these kinds of conversations because I'll never forget that now. And I bet you I'll win a bet with somebody on that one day. Okay. Oh, because this is talking about content of bylaws. This is what I was saying before.
Yeah.
That the bylaws should set forth its quorum.
Right.
And the brevity caucus struck that from our bylaws.
Right.
And I wish I'd known that then. I wasn't quite as sophisticated
And I
then.
know that all the different bylaws I've written over the years proposed, they've always had quorum in there.
Does our Colorado one have the quorum? I don't think it does.
Good question. Let me look.
We're referring a lot to Colorado here because we're from Colorado.
Yes.
But you can do the same exercise with your own state party documents, and this might help you in being on bylaws committees.
Actually, let me get. Let's see, not there.
I don't think we specify a quorum.
I don't think we do either, but let's make sure. Yes, we do actually.
Oh, okay, read it, please.
Article 3, Section 3. More than one half of the current membership of the Board of Directors shall constitute a quorum at all meetings for the transaction of business, except where a larger vote is required by the party constitution.
Oh, so if a larger vote is required, then that's interesting.
So what does the party constitution say about
Well, I'm not so sure any have a larger vote, but it's basically, all that really means then is you can't have a futile meeting. So if you're voting on something that requires 2/3 of the entire board and you don't have at least 2/3 of the entire board present, you don't have a quorum because you can't do the thing.
Oh, actually, the 2/3 vote specifically under the Constitution is for suspending members of the
officer.
Board of Directors.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a board, right. I'm saying officer loosely.
Right. Yeah. But then, is there any other?
So that
case,
makes sense because it's just saying you can't have a futile act.
Right.
You can't vote on something when you don't have the number of people
Right.
to do it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when we move to merge this sucker, that clause gets tweaked to get rid of that larger vote required. By the Constitution part is removed because of the merging. Makes that one little phrase irrelevant.
What one little phrase?
By the Constitution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you're going to boot the threshold below 2/3,
Oh, hell no.
and I'm like, oh,
No,
God,
no.
Heck no.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we had a very interesting first day, and we both learned something new.
Yeah.
So we'll not make those mistakes again. Yes, and there is a beagle here. This is a parliamentary beagle. She knows more about it than both of us. All right,
But
ciao.
she's not telling.
She's not telling until I give her a biscuit.
Until next time.
Adjourned.